Hey everyone, I'm Rick Walker with Maverick News and Maverick Multimedia with ongoing coverage of Freedom Convoy 2022 cruising to the capital and now points across Canada as we continue our ongoing coverage tonight with an emergency broadcast and an update on what is going on at the Windsor Ambassador Bridge at the Detroit-Windsor border crossing. And I'm here with my co-hostesses with the mostesses.
Brendan Kennedy with the Flow of Discourse podcast. How is everybody doing tonight?
And
and Carla Olson.
backwards.
And from Ottawa.
So we're going to bring you up to date with as much information as we have right now, because earlier this evening, there was an injunction that took effect at 7 p.m., giving police more authority, I guess, than they had before. I don't know how that's possible, but even more authority than they had to go in and remove the protesters from the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor. Now, we do have some people down there. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get a feed out of there or not. We're trying to hook in and get you the most up-to-date footage, live feed if we can, again, from the Windsor Ambassador Bridge, as we did earlier tonight in our 6 to 9 p.m. broadcast. The reason we're on right now is because police were down there handing out some sort of a paper to inform all of the protesters that what they're doing is illegal. And apparently most of the protesters were refusing to take the paper. They all, as you saw in our previous broadcast, had a meeting and decided collectively, unanimously, that they are not leaving.
I got a copy of the paper.
Do you?
Oh, good. What's
Yeah,
it say?
I just shared the screen.
Yeah, can you do that? Okay, let's bring this up. We're going to show you what the cops apparently were handing out.
So it says, did you know the province of Ontario has declared a state of emergency? Dun, dun, dun. This means it is anticipated that effective midnight, February 12th, 2022. Ooh, that's really small print. It is illegal and punishable to block and impede the movements of goods, people, and services along critical infrastructure. The new orders will be armed at protecting international border crossings, 400 series highways, airports, parts, bridges, and railways, as well as safe movement of medical service, public transit, municipal, provincial roadways. Fines for non-compliance can include a maximum fine of $100,000 and up to 1 year in prison.
Bum, 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 bum.
Not jail, prison. Hard time. The province is also considering taking away personal and commercial licenses from any protesters who do not comply with the order. These measures will be permanent.
Permanent. 2 weeks to flatten the curve and permanent crackdown on protesters.
And that I've been looking at a couple of things here with this. This is just like an intimidation.
Bum, 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 bum.
This is just them intimidating and bullying because they don't have anything else to work with, you know?
So we go from full tyranny to a full police state. There you have it. So that's what's been circulating down there. I don't mean to make light of it, but it's just like, let's get the sledgehammer out and smash these people, right? So that's what's going on. And as you see, it says effective midnight. So we're on here right now at midnight because we're trying to get you the latest. And we know that police have sent in reinforcements. If any action is likely to take place, it's likely to take place at the Windsor-Detroit border, and it's likely to take place tonight. Because Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, is under intense pressure from big business, factories, to the manufacturing sector in particular, and the automotive sector to do something about this, and from the Biden administration and from the governor of Michigan. They want that bridge reopened, and Doug Ford, being the kind of premier he is inclined to do whatever he's told. So everybody's on high alert. People are on edge down there, and we are going to try and get you a live feed out of there momentarily if we can. What are your thoughts on this, guys?
Well, I mean, they're creating a brand new law, and they're saying prison, so that would mean a felony and permanent loss of license, or just loss of license. Are they specific on the commercial and personal license?
No, I think they're just throwing whatever out there and hoping it sticks.
I mean, they're making it sound very, very scary, but what they're doing is hardly a felony. Peacefully protesting. I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know how it'll work. I wish Big Law wasn't snoring in the background, because we'd ask him how that would work.
Yeah. Well, these are maximum penalties that he's referring to. So if charges were to be laid against anyone, and if they were to go to jail, and have their day in court, prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Prison means felony.
Yeah. Then, a judge would have to pass sentence, and we would have to see, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. I just don't know, man. Like, it just seems so heavy-handed. And, I don't know. So, yeah, I'm seeing people here in my messaging asking if there is a blackout. There has been some speculation that if police move in, either in Windsor or Ottawa or wherever, that police would blackout or blackout cell phone service to prevent people from communicating with each other while they execute their mass arrest strategy or whatever they plan to do. So right now, we're not getting a feed out of there. People are asking if there's a blackout in the Windsor area. I don't know. It's hard for me to know exactly what's going on down there when we can't get the feed out. So bear with us. We're trying to find out what is going on at the border right now to see if police are actually taking any action at this midnight hour. It could happen at any time. The reason we're on right now is simply because, as you see in that pamphlet that they were handing out, this new state of emergency and the legislation accompanying it took effect about 11 minutes ago. And police are in place with reinforcements ready to execute whatever strategy they have planned. Now, we're going to bring you also footage from Ottawa. Carla's in Ottawa tonight. She just got back, and she was shooting fresh footage in Ottawa, right? And
yeah,
fresh.
It was fresh, all right. You'll see.
While I try and get in touch with these guys, why don't you bring folks up to date on what you saw down there just in the last couple of hours, Carla?
Yeah, so after we finished the 9 o'clock podcast, I went down. I got to Wellington and Metcalfe Street. That's kind of where that center stage is. It's always the hot spot. It's always where it's the most crowded. It was the busiest I've seen of any night in the last 12 or 13 days, whatever it's been that I've been here. They were just jam-packed with people. They had a live band. They've upped their ante on that stage. So they brought in a great big huge screen. They had that delivered today at 1 o'clock, and they've got it sitting on the stage. It's just ginormous. And at first I thought it was so that we could live stream Ottawa to others. But in fact, it's not that. What it is it's so that people who would like to speak during the speeches who can't be in Ottawa, we're streaming them in on that screen for the people of Ottawa to watch. Same with live music. So that was a big presence. But they did have some live bands there, which were a live band playing. It was pretty great. Felt like you were at a concert The people were crowded and stuffed in there together. So that was that little section. But remember, I keep talking about how it's like turning into its own little city within the city of Ottawa, their own community. So I walked further down Wellington Street, and about every block, you would find some other kind of venue. I felt like I was out on a Friday night walking downtown in any city, and there were bars, different genres of music, different types. I went into a rave, something that looked very much like a rave, and they had just little parties and with different music and dancing along my journey. And that's what I saw. And I continued all the way down to Kent Street, walked down Kent, and they had not a lot going on in Kent Street, but there was a little dance party that I participated in on Kent Street as well.
Okay.
So it was just very busy for the evening, right? So it was good.
So busiest night of all so far in downtown Ottawa is what you're saying?
I think so.
Those porta potties look new.
Yeah, so those are new. I just noticed them today. And then, in fact, there was this morning, one of the organizers came to me and said, hey, keep your eyes on the porta potty. Apparently, the city is planning to come and take them, like confiscate the porta potties. Interestingly enough, there was quite a show of veterans downtown today. They all came in a group, and they had spoken with the veterans. The veterans had said that they were going to stand in front of the porta potties and sort of, protest against them taking them. So, but it didn't happen. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but today that didn't happen. Today they had functioning porta potties, but another issue is the city isn't allowing them sanitation, for dumping. So that's been an ongoing issue. But look at these people. There are so many.
Yeah.
It's a sea of people.
And tough talk today, again, from these heavy-handed politicians, Justin Trudeau, and especially today, very tough talk from a very weak politician, Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario. And this is the reaction we've had from the protesters who have basically who have been told to go home. And what are we seeing down there? We're seeing
a party. Probably quite frustrating for JT there.
Yeah. A lot of flag waving, patriotism, and that is the stuff that those guys really seem to hate.
I think we got
and guys,
somebody able to come in here. Give me one moment.
Just want to also add that it was raining. It was that wet, cold, slushy rain that did not stop them. Look at the people.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
You know what? When you've got that much warmth and all those hearts, it just
exactly
spreads, right? They're keeping each other warm with all that patriotic love. Unbelievable and inspirational.
Truly it is. Absolutely. This guy here, they were playing the Doors Roadhouse Blue. Boy, could he ever sing. He was just going for it. He was awesome. This blows my mind, Why do our politicians want to crush this? Canadian flags everywhere, people singing the national anthem, national pride, people loving each other, hugging each other, freedom, the message of freedom spreading everywhere, which is what Canada has always been about. And the politicians want to shut this down, crush these people. This coming from our prime minister, who says Canada is the first post-national state. The guy who flew our flag at half-mast for months, at half-staff for months. The guy who these politicians shut down the border for over a freaking year, right? Shut it down. And now people who have lost their jobs, who have lost their homes, who have lost, in some cases, everything they ever worked for, or are on the verge of losing everything they've ever worked for because of those politicians. Now they want to crush these people because they're down there protesting legally at the border and in Ottawa and in points in between
because their voices haven't been heard. The politicians are tone deaf, and they say, well, in this country, you show up, you protest, you make your point, and you have to go home. Yeah, because they just don't want to deal with you. It's like they just want to dismiss these people. They're not going home, as you can clearly see. You can threaten them, you can fine them, you can even throw them in prison. They ain't going home. They're staying right where they are. And this is their message in response to your spineless, weak, impotent response to them. They're basically giving you the great big Canadian middle finger, saying, we love our country and we're going to stay put. So if you don't like it, bring on your goons in your full body armor and come on in. You've already confiscated, in a brilliant strategic move, you've confiscated our bouncy castles for our kids. Now you can come in and finish the deed. I mean, it's just brilliant military strategy, right? Get in there and snatch the kids from the parents next. That's great. That's fantastic. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Meanwhile, they're all standing up there, lying through their teeth, calling all these people racists. I mean, you couldn't write you couldn't make this crap up.
No.
But they are.
I don't know. That's a pretty multiracial group there too, if you really look.
It absolutely is.
You know.
So I got a message from Steven.
Okay.
Did he? I'm not sure if he's jumped in yet.
No, not seeing him in the studio yet. So they're bringing their tactical unit. And you know what? These mandates are ending anyway. We've heard them say that they're ending, but they just can't admit that these truckers have been effective. Right?
Oh, exactly.
They can't
That's
can't appear to be weak. We're going to have to crush them and throw them all in jail, all these protesters, because we can't be seen to have lost anything. They're trying to save face by acting tough.
Yeah, we can't let Canadians think we actually work for them.
Right. Why don't they just do the damn right thing and just say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we're doing it anyway, so we might as well just do it right now. And then everybody can go home. And everybody can be happy, and we can all go back to our lives, and we can learn to live with this virus, right? In the most responsible way we can, without impeding people's rights. Okay, what's wrong with that? But no, they've got to come in and crush all these people, because you know why? Because these are the people that they think are their political opponents. These are people that they think are a threat to them somehow. This is and there's probably some other bigger unwritten behind the scenes agenda going on that is preventing them from acting in the best interests of the people. And these are the people.
Exactly. Look at all the people who came out, like so many of them.
And
I'm going to step backstage for a minute. Just I'm going to call this guy, see what I got.
Thanks, Brendan. I'm just, yeah.
I mean, and make no mistake about it, the conditions were not comfortable to be out there, but as you can see with the people, they just, it didn't matter. What mattered
what's the mood? What's the mood, Carla? Tell us, like, these people seem very happy.
They are. I mean, smiles everywhere, hugging. I mean, I'm always trying to catch people hugging because I really want to send that message home. I want people to believe that it happens so often. And it's constant. You can't, I mean, these people were dancing, waving flags, laughing. And, you would think that they were all drinking, but they were not. They were joyful just to be joyful. Because
it's like a festival, like a New Year's Eve type celebration or something, right?
Right. Minus the drunken antics, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that everybody didn't have a drink, but, the organizers have been discussing, hey, guys, you know what? Like, Ottawa says they're going to start, finding us with open containers. So, be careful. And not to mention, we don't want a bunch of drunk people. And they've been respectful to this. Like, they've done everything they can for this city, for the police and the police chief, short of going home.
Yes, that's right. They clean up the garbage, shovel the snow, salt the sidewalks. They've been feeding the homeless.
Right.
but the narrative you get on the other side is they're stealing food from the homeless. They're, you would think that they're describing this as some sort of an insurrection. The premier today said Ottawa is a city under siege. A city under siege.
I mean, he could say that it's occupied, because I'm not going to deny. I mean, this is occupation in some ways. I mean, we've got people.
But no, you know what? I disagree, because here's the thing. If you look at what happened in the States when you've had occupiers, right? They would take over a section of the city, like in, say, I think it was Seattle, right? So they would take over a section of the city, like the downtown core, and they wouldn't let the cops in.
Okay,
and then,
then we're not occupying.
And they were in there with weapons, and they had their own security force set up and their own set of laws. Okay, and then they were running the show in there. That's what was going on there. That was an occupation, and that was like a BLM. That's a and they were like, oh, that's a totally different thing, and people got killed there. All right, so that's a goddamn occupation. What is this?
Couch surfing?
Yeah, this is like a festival.
It is.
The police are welcomed with open arms. They want police there to keep everyone safe.
Right.
All right. They're feeding the homeless. They're not making their own laws. They're just demanding the restoration of the laws that are in place in Canada, which is the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and the Constitution, which have been effectively rescinded because of all these COVID mandates. They want the mandates gone. So that's what they're there protesting for. They don't want to take over the country. They want the country back. They want it back the way that it was. And they're not occupying it in a way where it's like police are out, because this is they're not establishing some new country there. They're not establishing some no-go zone. Everyone is welcome, including the authorities, and they want Justin Trudeau to come down to talk to them. They're not saying, hey, Justin, get the heck out of here, this is our new country. They're not they haven't like designated it like the chop zone or whatever the heck they called it back on the US side. This is not an occupation. This is just a bunch of fed up Canadians protesting outside the Parliament buildings, which they're entitled to do because they're all taxpayers and Canadian citizens, and that's where you go when you protest. And if you don't get the politicians to listen to you, then you stay put until they damn well do. And the politicians have been tone deaf through this entire damn thing. And it's high time that they do listen.
Well, I mean, and they've even opened it up and said, they're obviously asking for Justin Trudeau every single day to come and speak and address these people, his people, his Canadians. They've even extended an invitation to other politicians, any politician. And
yes,
everyone's a no-show.
Yeah, except for some of the people from the smaller opposition parties that have embraced freedom as a cornerstone of their platforms, right?
But no one who has any seats. Okay, so that's the thing. The opposition, the small party that didn't get any seats, that is the opposition. They're great. They're in with the people. They're making speeches. They're talking to them. They're showing support. But our elected politicians that have seats in the House of Commons and in Parliament, they are not coming.
Yeah, they're just refusing because they're like a uniparty. They all speak from the same. They're all singing from the same songbook. Mm-hmm. That's really the truth of the matter. Okay, there's really no difference between them anymore, and I don't think we can trust any of them. That's the truth. We can't trust any of them.
Well, they say Pierre Poilievre. I can never say
Poilievre.
I always want to add Anyway, Poilievre has been in the crowd, but he's never come and spoke to the people, and that's what they're asking them to do. Come and address us. Like Poilievre could go and stand on the stage and address the people and tell them that he supports them, but he's not going to do that, and he certainly isn't going to do that publicly and with any kind of intention. I feel like sometimes when he's speaking, he's also very indirect. He's sending tones of hints that he's supportive of it, but he's not being as direct as I feel he could be.
Yes,
that's a good
and
point.
That again is just my opinion, but I would like to see him be more direct, more firm, and his statements being more pointed and not left open for discussion.
Any word on our feed out of Windsor?
I got something in the private chat there.
Okay. Okay, I'm queuing it up. Okay, let's see what we got here. Excellent. Okay, we're going to switch over to this feed. One moment. This is
Awesome.
going to be a feed right out of Windsor, Ambassador Birdge,
Yep.
Windsor-Detroit border.
Mm-hmm.
There's our footage. Okay, let's get this feed up. Let's get some audio. Let's bring this down.
I'm back, guys. PayPal link is in the description if you're interested, Nick.
Oh, is that the right one? Should be
Maybe
live.
not. Perhaps not. Hang on.
It doesn't look live.
Should be at 70-80% for 45 minutes. Well, do you want me to close it down? That's all I could get to be there at 12. I have to walk. I am back.
'Cause what I got on my screen is different.
Okay, so I've got the wrong feed. Got to get me a different link here, Brandon. Sorry, folks. We're just trying to get you the
You're
right
welcome,
feed out of
guys.
here.
If you want to support, PayPal link is in the description.
Looks like they just finished that one.
Okay, hang on. We're going to pull this out. Okay, hang on. A lot of links up here. Okay, we're going to pull this one out. Coming back in here. Do you have a fresh link there? Okay, we've got it. Is this live? Okay.
No, it's the same one. That's the same one. I thought.
This is very recent though, right? This is within
Yeah.
minutes.
Within
So
minutes.
let's pull this up because this is current from the
Yes.
scene. And we'll see what we've got going on here. Hang on. Here we go.
No, this is just my crafting channel. So you get what you see.
Okay, so this is a feed, very recent, probably within minutes ago, out of Windsor, the Windsor-Detroit border.
You could skip it forward more. It'll take you closer to the Ambassador Bridge.
I made it.
There you go.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And look, it's like Ottawa 2.0.
Yeah, so we can see that police have not moved in yet, at least not as far as we know. As we say, this is just moments ago at the Windsor-Detroit border at the Ambassador Bridge, where you can see a lot of people still on the scene there.
I'm really cold, guys. Sorry.
So, protesters given a
Sure, I'll check the PayPal after, guys.
given a deadline of midnight, and this is their response.
Danielle, I didn't know what. I see they come in all shapes and sizes.
That's about the same amount that were actually there before we went offline, right? Last time, I feel
Yes,
like the crowd's about
yes.
the same.
Yeah, it looks about it. I don't think they've lost many people at all.
No. Hopefully they gained some.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
You got to be pretty hardcore to stand out there. Like it's
Oh, it's miserable
weather is-
looking.
yes.
yeah.
I'll stand in the snow for hours on end, but soggy weather doesn't do me good.
No, it's not nice.
So yeah, I mean, it's hard to say what how police will respond. I think they're going to wait until they see that the best opportunity for a successful raid, attack, mass arrests operation. Operation Border Basher. I don't know whatever they call the thing, but yeah, they'll wait until the crowd goes down. They'll probably try and wait them out. Because what's the time now? 12:33.
Yep.
So, what are your thoughts, guys?
I'm not sure. Go ahead.
I feel like they're going to come like a thief in the night. The same thing they're going to do in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Because the least amount of people that, obviously if there's less people, there's less risk involved for any kind of violence or any kind of, if they could just come in with their massive amount of people, swoop up just a few, it'll be quick and painless. And therefore their reputation, they may think, will be restored. They go in with a crowd like this, oh boy, it could go badly.
Yeah. And that's the thing. This doesn't have to happen. None of this had to escalate to this point. And when I say escalate, the escalation on the risk side is entirely on the government. They're portraying these protesters. The government is portraying these protesters as people who are putting the economy at risk, putting jobs at risk, putting people's health at risk because they're the ones causing all the problems. The reality is these people are out there expressing love for their country. They're exercising their right to free speech. They're fed up and they're demanding that the politicians listen to them. And the politicians are obviously responding anyway. The protests are having an impact. We've seen so many changes in the last week as a response to all of this. O'Toole is gone as leader of the Conservatives, right? We're seeing provinces lift their mandates, lift the vaccine passports. Even in a secret recorded phone call, Premier Doug Ford said that Ontario was going to get rid of the vaccine passports here as well, and said that he would even have a timeline to talk about with regard to that as early as Monday, which was incredibly embarrassing for him today to have had that information leaked early. Mm-hmm. But they just don't want to appear weak. They're so worried about looking like big, strong, big men. They got to whip out their little soldiers and send them down there, turn their cops into goons, turn them against the Canadian people so that they can make a point to say, we're in charge. We don't take any orders or ultimatums from you.
Yeah.
We don't take orders from you. We make the rules. We say when the mandates end. Not you.
Yeah, they have to keep their thumb on us,
Yeah. They're going to get rid of him anyway. But first, got to crush these little people, and then we'll lift the mandates.
And here's the funny thing. So all this stuff is going on now. And in February of 2020, we had the Wet'suwet'en blockade. And Justin Trudeau's response was, the Prime Minister and Indigenous leaders say peaceful, respectful dialogue is the best path forward. Do you not see the difference between how they're handling this one and that one? It's almost the same bloody thing, except they crippled pretty much every rail line in pretty much all of Canada with that one. Yeah. With burning tires and all kinds of dangerous kind of blockade. So it wasn't necessarily like, oh, we're just going to hold up this border here. It was like, oh, let's stick a bunch of burning pallets and tires on a tire track and see what happens. And there was barely any arrest with that or anything else. So the difference is just like astounding.
I'm just going to put on my tinfoil hat for a second and speculate that that protest wasn't a threat to world leaders as this protest is.
You're right.
Because
You
they
know?
want the oil shut down. They're
This-
fine with it. They're cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so much bigger than that protest was, because it's the behind the scenes. I think that, you know, the entire world, citizens are looking to Canada to free them, but the world leaders and the elitists are also looking to Justin Trudeau to, and this is my opinion only, but to keep their agenda. And keep in mind, I am wearing my tinfoil hat.
I think that the tinfoil hat is pulling in radio waves that are giving you a very accurate broadcast.
Right.
So your brain is getting filled with very accurate information.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin Trudeau clearly is not pro-Canadian. He's not a nationalist. He's a globalist.
Mm-hmm.
He believes in global government, and he is subservient to these elite globalists who also believe in a one world government, so that Canada and every nation state basically becomes like a state or province under the umbrella of an unelected, undemocratic world government run by a bunch of extremely rich people who basically suck up the wealth from all of the countries around the world and dictate how the entire world is going to be run. And they want to control you and extract the wealth from you. And Justin Trudeau is, let's face it, he's
holding the future of that in his hands right now,
he is.
because the world is looking at Canada. If he gives in to the Canadians and we win this thing, and he doesn't go down fighting in front of his globalist friends, it's not going to do well. I mean, either way, I feel that he's in trouble. But
Yes.
I mean,
Yep.
because this thing has spread out throughout the world, so every globalist is looking, to Canada, because if Canada can set precedent, if Canada can get their people in line, then it will send a message to the others. But if Canada can't be put in line, then the others are going to rise up. It's going to be a disaster for the globalists. And they're all looking to Justin Trudeau.
And Canada is one of the big prizes in all of this because of our resources. I mean, they want the resources here. They want the wealth of this country, but they want it for themselves. They don't want the little people to have it. They don't want the citizens of Canada to have it.
Right.
They want it, and they want to control it. But their master plan, their evil master plan, as crazy as it sounds, hasn't really quite been working in some of these other countries where the politicians are finally at this point backtracking on a lot of these mandates. Canada, though, we've been so compliant, and they've been able to get so many people to fall into line here that I think they saw this country as easy pickings.
Yeah.
And now we've got this. And I'm quite sure you're right, Carla. I think that Justin Trudeau has some explaining to do to some of them, to his bosses upstairs who are running the global show.
And then
Oh,
he's got
yeah.
his citizens wanting explanations. He's got his own liberal party, some of them wanting explanation. I mean, it's no wonder he's hiding. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't even know what he's hiding from. He doesn't have anywhere to hide.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before the fox comes out of the hole.
And Premier Doug Ford, Ontario, he's obviously in league with this. Elected as a conservative, has not been governing as a conservative.
Oh, hell no.
His actions, his words, everything, he's in lockstep and has been with Prime Minister Trudeau from the beginning of all of this. He's like Trudeau's little boy, doing his bidding.
He's absolutely a conservative in a red shirt.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
this is the
what
way
you
that
call a
people
red
are
Tory.
responding tonight. People are beginning to figure
right.
this out. People are beginning to figure it out. And we heard speeches to that effect down there tonight, where they talked about, it's really the elite, the so-called 1% that have been basically controlling everything. They've crushed small businesses. They've devastated the economy. Trudeau's given away hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to foreign governments. He's indebted the country to record levels, spent more money than I think every previous government combined in history. And then he has the audacity to sit there today and express concern about the freaking economy.
Exactly.
And blame these people for supply chain disruptions. When he's the guy who shut down the border, he's the guy who shut down the economy, he's the guy with his planned economic ideas and socialist left-wing crazy wackadoodle communist ideals. I mean, this is the guy who has been ripping the heart out of the economy for the past, since he's been in office, but especially over the past 2 years. I mean, you go anywhere. You go to the grocery store for the past 6 months, especially. You see shortages of this, shortages of that. I go to get car parts over here or automotive paint over there, and you can't get what you need. I couldn't get. I paint cars, right? Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get filters for my face masks. You can't get stuff. It's just like a communist country, equal misery for all, because Justin Trudeau's just sprinkling that out all across because, hey, I guess we're all in it together. What a twit.
And they thought Canada would just be used to it because our beer store and liquor store kind of act like what you would call a Soviet-style shopping experience.
Well, yeah, and then he's like, well, you know what? I think that what he was really hoping for was that by legalizing marijuana and making sure the LCBO was still open, the people would just get droned and sit around half deaf and half dumb and not really care that the country's being basically given away, and that the average Canadian, the middle class that he said he was going to help when he was elected and promised that he was going to prop up.
Yeah.
He's been smashing everybody with a damn sledgehammer. And if you don't comply, you'll be punished. And as Doug Ford said today, there will be consequences. In fact, Trudeau said the exact same thing. He said the exact same thing previously in previous speeches. There will be consequences, peasants.
Do we tolerate these people? Those people.
Yeah, the hate spewer. The hate spewer. Yeah, those people. You and
Can I stay over
and
here?
it just goes on and on. But tonight, this is the response from the people. These are the people. And we're just waiting to see if the cops go in there and execute Operation Justin Trudeau at the border, or Doug Ford, or insert politician's name right here. They're all in it together.
Where are these people sleeping?
I don't think they will be sleeping tonight. I think they're all down there just waiting for the cops to come in and arrest them. Haul them all off. They're not sleeping.
But they've
Just down
been
there
staying
waiting.
there, right?
Yeah, but not all of them, right? So, like, people are coming and going and coming and coming and going. It's not quite like Ottawa. So a lot of these people just came in there tonight. And, a bunch of people, like some of the people who were down there providing reports to us earlier today, they've gone home. And now we have this new feed. And a lot of these are people that showed up this afternoon. The truckers, though, the trucks are still there. And the cars that have been parked as part of the blockade, they remain there. But this is basically an organic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So people are coming and going, and through the weekend, I know there are more people going there in the morning. Another convoys of people.
Yeah,
ready to go in the morning.
I have
That's
word
awesome.
out on that. There's a bunch of people going there in the morning.
Yep.
So, I mean,
As much as Mayor Drew Dilkins in Windsor doesn't want them and says they are not welcome, and as much as the Premier doesn't want them there, as much as Justin Trudeau wants this thing shut down, as much as Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, is putting pressure on the Canadian government to shut it down, as much as Joe Biden doesn't want them to go, it's pretty clear they're going. And these people ain't leaving. They've dug in, and this is their response to these escalating threats from the government and from police. So, I mean, whatever side you're on, folks, this is what's happening at the border. But remember, it's all for your health.
What's happening in Sarnia at Blue Water Bridge?
I haven't been able to get word out of there. Do you know, Brendan?
Yeah, 402 is still blocked off by about 15 or so tractors.
Yeah.
And they're camping out there. They have washroom facilities, sleeping facilities, campfires, whole 9 yards. They're all there. They're not moving.
Any threats? Like notes like they got in Windsor?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard from them. I was there yesterday, so that's really the last I have of it. I'm assuming nothing's changed, but I will be making a reach out to those contacts and see what they have going on.
I haven't had a chance to look in my groups. I kind of wish I would have brought my laptop because it's all on my phone, right?
Yeah.
I packed light.
That's the way to do it, though.
Well, no, because then I wouldn't be able to see it. But and they put so many things in these groups, I can't keep up with them. So they may have put out that message that something was happening, for 7 o'clock, that they got that, and then there could be 1,000 videos after. So it's hard to get to backtrack in these groups. They're so fast.
Yeah, they are. I'm testing something out here, so.
That's why I rely on you guys.
Yeah, I think I have a new live feed out of Windsor and Ottawa on a multi-screen feed here. Hang on, I'm just going to confirm this. Yeah, okay, hang on. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to bring this other feed up. Here we go. So this is a multi-feed window. The top left-hand corner is the feed coming out of Windsor at the Ambassador Birdge. I believe the middle ones are the ones out of Ottawa. So we'll just keep a close eye on that for the next few minutes.
So, the mayor of Sarnia, Ontario, declared all of the Ambassador Birdge blockades terrorists, and he called the 402 blockade terrorists. But when it comes to protests that he agrees with, he says, "We do not plan to shut down the blockade as long as no one gets hurt."
So
Very interesting. So that was about the Wet'suwet'en blockade back in 2020, and I'm just mentioning it to show everybody kind of the difference in tone. So when all these politicians agree with what the protest is, or are silenced by political correctness, then they're not going to talk about it, or they won't shut it down. But when it comes to things that they don't agree with, then they call them all terrorists and pressure the police to put action on it. And they also probably pressured the premier to do so as well. So this,
so this is who? The mayor of Sarnia you're talking about?
yeah, Mike Bradley, who was all cool with they blockaded the CN rail, which is a tunnel to the United States.
Okay. Yep.
And they were all cool with it. They let it shut down for a long time. Nobody gave a crap.
Right. Because that blockade, that was initiated, and who was behind that?
That was the
A First Nations thing?
yeah, it was a First
Yeah.
Nation saying they wanted to stop pipelines from going to
Right.
being built across Alberta. I'm just bringing it back up. I just wanted to bring up the
Yeah.
direct correlation because I had a hunch that he didn't give a crap about that blockade, but
Right.
these blockades come, and then all the mayors and all the premiers and the prime minister and police chiefs go, "This is atrocious. We got to stop this."
And as I recall, that blockade and some of those protests, the people behind those, they didn't even really represent some of the First Nations peoples who would have benefited. Their communities would have really prospered if those pipelines had been built.
That's correct.
And so some of the First Nations peoples, a lot of them, wanted that investment to come through their communities. But there was this, it was actually set up as a corporation, if I remember correctly. And those guys were the ones behind a lot of the protests and the blockades. But because it was an anti-oil initiative and
anti-colonialism
campaign, yes, and then politicians like Mike Bradley, left-wing politicians like Mike Bradley, get behind that, and that's okay. But this protest, which is about freedom and involves people from all political stripes, all walks of life, not just truckers, they see this as a threat to their authority and a threat to their position, a threat to their perceived strength. So they want to shut this stuff down. You're right. There is an absolute double standard being employed here. They're not trying to apply the law or legislation equally to all people.
Of course not. And actually, I think this is something that we need to study a little bit more in depth in our off time for tomorrow's show.
Yes.
Because this sets up the measurement for what is allowed and what is not allowed.
Well,
That
this
we
is
have,
the, yes.
we have that. We have that to look back on, because it's only 2 years old. It was only February of 2020 this happened. It was a big charade. It pissed the Conservatives off to hell. It blockaded all kinds of trade and everything else. I think that, well, tomorrow I'll look into it as much as I can before the show, or I guess today I should say. But I'll look into that tomorrow, and we'll go that route. And yeah, because I think there's something to learn from that, and I think that this needs to be wiped in all these people's faces who are calling all of these individuals, including you, Carla, terrorists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not a terrorist.
We're
Just
not.
in case anyone wondered.
Yeah, we're not. We all want peace, a peaceful resolution to this. We we don't want any of these people to have to be out there, but I guess like Justin Trudeau finds the burning of churches understandable, I find these protests understandable.
Yeah.
But these people have been peaceful, unbelievably peaceful. I mean, if you think about it, all these protests, thousands and thousands and thousands of people involved, and really, you can't really point to much of anything realistically and say, oh well, they're a bunch of rowdy criminals burning down the city. That's not true. It's been just the opposite. They keep trying to fabricate all this crap to throw at them and smear them with these insults, but the reality is it's just not true. It has not been true. And we've shown you that everything they've been saying in regard to all of these negative comments, it's all been a pack of lies.
I mean, even that police officer, the retired police officer that is with the Stand on Guard for D, when he spoke today, he said that this protest is so peaceful that it makes peaceful protests look angry. It's more peaceful than the average peaceful protest. He said he was thinking about all the peaceful protests that he's seen in his lifetime. He said, and this protest is more peaceful than the peaceful ones. He said there's no describing how, there just aren't words to describe how peaceful and how great the peace is at this protest. And then he kind of laughed at it. He said, it's definitely, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, it looks like nothing's going on in Ottawa.
I do have
Not
something
too much
to
is
show
happening
you.
in Windsor.
There is something going on with the live feeds out of there, guys, and I'm going to show you what I mean. This is what most live screens, most live feeds coming out of the Windsor area right now are showing this. I will get this up for you in just a moment. I just have to find the right link. And this is concerning because, as we know, one of the things they've been talking about is the possibility that there would be a blackout prior to police moving in. And this is what most, if not all, live feeds coming out of there right now are showing. The page you requested cannot be displayed right now. It may be temporarily unavailable. The link you clicked on may be broken or expired, or you may not have permission to view this page.
And every single live screen, live.
So because
That's
we do have
frightening.
some people trying to go live out of there right now. That other feed that we have, I think they switched that top left screen back to Ottawa because I saw the jerry can stuff going on. Looked like a different feed. And this is what is being displayed when people are trying to go live out of Windsor right now. Now, there's no question. The authorities, the optics on moving in and making a bunch of arrests down there, they're not going to be good. It
So what is
doesn't
it,
look good.
1 a.m. Is that what it is, thereabout?
Yeah, so that was 12:15. So that was about 45 minutes ago that screen came up, that screenshot that was just sent to me. And as you know, we went live at midnight because that midnight deadline was issued. And we were concerned that police might be moving in there around midnight or shortly after. And now we're getting this. So we're going to continue to work here for the next short while anyway to see if we can get current information out of Windsor at the Windsor-Detroit border, where protesters continue to hold the line tonight.
Does anyone have a telephone number they could text?
Yeah,
Just
I'm
to see
sending-
if it's just the internet?
Yeah, I'm trying to get messages out to people here. We'll see if we can get something
Yeah,
back.
I made attempts.
It looks like the internet is actually still working, and people are able to have some ability to use their mobile devices, but it's the video feeds, the live feeds that are being disrupted. At least that's the way it appears. We
Right.
can't say anything with any great certainty because, of course, the authorities aren't going to tell us what their strategy is. And if there is some
No.
sort of disruption, we can't confirm at this point why there is a disruption.
Right. We can only assume.
Which is always a dangerous thing, but this is
So-
the information we're getting, and that's a fact.
It's hard to get information, you know,
It is.
these days.
I have a new feed coming in here. It looks like it's recorded, but it is fresh.
Yeah, the Windsor Police website has putting out a notice to let everybody know that they're clearly aware it is a criminal offense to obstruct, interrupt, or interfere with the lawful use, enjoyment, or operation of property. The offense itself is known as mischief to property. The unlawful act of blocking streets at and near the Ambassador Birdge is resulting in people being denied the lawful use, enjoyment, and operation of their property, causing businesses to close down. Blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Once again, the government solidifying that only they can close your business down. No one else is allowed to.
And they're the ones who
kidding.
were doing it. They were the ones doing it for a long time. And they spread a lot of pain across the country. And that pain is bubbling up to the surface tonight in the form of these protests. So,
Wow.
Well, it'll be a matter of time anyway.
How's that video coming, Rick?
yeah, so I've got this, but I don't really, I'll show you what it is, but it is, I don't know how current or how recent. It's recent, but I don't know how recent. I can't get an exact timeline on it. Hang on, almost there. So here it is.
Oh, yeah, that's actually from 2 days ago.
Is it? Yeah. Yeah. So somebody sent me this, but
I love that.
obviously, yeah, I didn't think it was that fresh, even though it's a new upload.
Yeah, no, I've seen that one circulating.
Yeah. So,
Well, we'll have to wait and see if we get people to pull through tomorrow and get
yeah,
updates
there's
then.
nothing, there's really nothing more we can show you at the moment from the Windsor-Detroit border because as we showed you, there is that. I did want to touch on a couple of things briefly before we do, let this go right now.
Sure.
Hang on. Chris just sent a link maybe
What did
into
you
our,
What did you want to show us?
well, the Ontario party run by Derek Sloan, he's the leader now. They issued a statement on Doug Ford's state of emergency. And let me bring that up for you. So here you see the statement from Derek Sloan and the Ontario Party. In response to Doug Ford's decision to declare a state of emergency in Ontario. I just have to find the right. It says, End the state of emergency now. Doug Ford has declared Ontario in a state of emergency because of the trucker protests. This state of emergency in Ontario is unjust. It must be rescinded immediately. Protests are a necessary form of expression in a democratic society, particularly for those whose opinions do not command a big voice in the public square. Governments have a responsibility to listen to the concerns and complaints of protesters and must be willing to accept some degree of disruption that comes with protest. And of course, what we've seen in response from our elected officials like Doug Ford, they're not listening. They've refused to talk to the truckers. And yet they turn around and then say, well, you've made your point. Now go home. But they've done nothing to try to resolve this through discussion. Yet they say they want to end this peacefully. Well, Derek Sloan, the Ontario Party, this is the Ontario Party response. They're saying end the state of emergency now. And we also have, I believe we have a video with Derek Sloan as well that we can share with you. I'll bring that up as well so we can listen to that in just a little more detail before we bring this midnight update to a conclusion. Also, we have some fresh video from Alberta, where Pastor Artur Pavlovsky remains in prison as a described political prisoner. Here's Derek Sloan, former federal conservative, now leader of the Ontario Party.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing? I have a statement on the declaration of emergency that was given today by Doug Ford, and I'd like to share that with.
I can't really hear that.
Yeah, it's kind of low. He's not quite on mic.
Doug Ford sounded a lot more today, out of touch, tyrannical, and death of all places of the time. Freedom Convoy was the most successful protest movement in recent years. Has united support millions of public communities and inspired similar movements in the United States. Freedom Convoy demands and mandate, and we support them. We condemn Doug Ford's declaration of state of emergency and demand that it be lifted immediately. Protests are a necessary form of protection in any democratic society, particularly for those who do not demand a free voice of the world or into the system. All governments have the responsibility to listen and to protest. They must be willing to accept some degree of acceptance that comes to protest. We support the peaceful political movement in Ottawa. Protest is entirely peaceful. Protest
Yeah, I just can't hear. I'm not sure if other people.
Okay.
Politicians at every level.
Well, we won't continue with this because if people can't hear it, there's not a lot of point, right?
Yeah.
Can you hear it, Rick?
And I can hear it here, yes. But
So can
no
you
point
just
if
kind of have,
Government officials.
that's as much volume as we can get out of it, which is unfortunate.
Engaging in dialogue with the
But basically, Derek Sloan is saying here exactly what we just told you, that people have a right to protest, and the government should remove this state of rescind this state of emergency because it's clearly being used as a political tool.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't, if this was a real state of emergency, do you think Doug Ford would have gone snowmobiling over the weekend?
no.
If this was a real state of emergency, do you think Justin Trudeau would have gone skiing?
No, they'd be in Parliament at work.
Because a state of emergency is when, you have a major natural disaster. Or if it's a national thing or even a provincial thing, it's because we've gone to war.
Right.
Okay? That's what this really should be reserved for. And I think in their small little minds, they are at war because these truckers have staged the single most effective protest in Canadian, if not world history. It has spread across the country and it's spreading around the world. And you're absolutely 100% on the money, Carla. And that's a threat not just to Doug Ford and the other premiers and to Justin Trudeau, but to global leaders who want the small people kept in line. And this is a working class movement. This is the everyday truck driver, the farmer, the people who go to work every day and actually make the country work. They want to keep these people, they want to keep you and me and every other peasant in line. That's what this is about. That's really what it's about. It's not about our health. It's not about COVID. It's about keeping the little people in line.
Yeah.
Cracking down on them with authority, showing them who's boss. But the people are responding and reminding them that in a democratic society, it's the politicians who work for the people, not the other way around. And it's high time they realize it. These guys, their days are numbered. Justin Trudeau, he's as good as gone. Doug Ford, no chance of being reelected.
None.
And the Conservative Party in Ontario is going to be devastated in the next election. I don't know which party will emerge, but there's no way those guys are getting back into power. Somebody else is going to be in there.
Well, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if Doug Ford gets a minority.
I don't even know how you can say that, Brendan. He's so unpopular. Even conservatives will not vote for that guy again. He is history. The only way they would even stand a chance is if they got rid of that guy. So his political career is over.
Well,
Over.
all of his MPPs seem to love him, so that's kind of why I'm.
Brendan, they're afraid of him. There's a difference. And you can only rule through fear so long. You can only rule through fear so long. Here's a fresh feed out of Windsor. Let me pick this up for you. Okay, hang on.
Trying to stay away from the music. No matter what I've done, they keep cutting it for music. I'm trying to stay back.
So Facebook keeps cutting this
and then I
feed.
try to get in there again.
This is what's going on right now. So police obviously still have not moved in, at least as far as we know.
Well, this image actually kind of gives us a perspective. It's like, so people have
There's
like
no mute button on
motorhomes down there.
Facebook Live. All right, I don't know who this Samantha is. I've never tried this. Wants to be in your video thing, but we're gonna try it.
DJ's
party.
playing down there. It's a big party.
I bet you that McDonald's is making more money than it ever
Police
has.
presence is heavy. Every side street, every intersection. It's insane. They're everywhere.
They're getting ready.
Share, 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 share. Once police move in, everyone can witness the tyrants. They are. Just hanging back here because of the music.
I need to dump out of this for just a moment. I'm going to bring this feed back.
Still,
Stay with us. I'm
Good.
just going to check
I don't know. It's
something
hard for me to
technically
guess how
here.
many people
I'll be
are
right
around
back.
here.
I'm going to bring this back.
Okay.
So there's police on the sides. What they say in the area, hey?
Yep.
Massive police presence.
I'd seen.
I think they're going to make their move.
I've seen photos of OPP, SWAT, and that sort of stuff. Makes you kind of wonder, like, if Ottawa is such a scary siege, how can they have possibly divert resources to the Ambassador Bridge?
Down there at the Bouncey Road,
Well, I think they're losing more money on the
so
Ambassador
that's
Bridge.
blocked off over there
Yeah.
too. So last I was up there was probably
I mean-
75 people down there. And people walk up there and then they come back down here. Different vibe at each location. Some people are kind of worried about being down here because of the threats and the fear that Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, put in, Drew Dilkins put in. So some tend to go down there and might be a little safer down there than it is down here. Uh-oh. I use Bluetooth headphones. I don't have plug-in headphones. I don't even have an aux port on this phone. And with Bluetooth, you can't. I don't know. I never tried actually Facebook Live with Bluetooth headset. I don't want to wear my damn headphones all the time. That's what I have to do for now. So I don't know. It seems like it's popular stuff. It gets caught, but if it's remixes and techno, then it seems to not flag Facebook to remove it. So it all depends on what songs they're playing. Oh, here we go. This is going to get blocked. This is going to get blocked. Sorry. Turn it this way, but I got to keep trying to talk or something, drown out this music. Oh, I'm going to get dropped for sure. Oh, that's going to get dropped. Just with that right there. Facebook, I don't own this damn music.
I'm going to pull this audio down while we just let this roll a little bit. But yeah, you can see still a lot of people there, and yet cops over there. And the word we're getting is there's a very, very heavy police presence in the area on Huron Church, leading up to the Ambassador Bridge at the Windsor-Detroit border tonight. And it appears it's just a matter of time before police move in and take steps to shut this protest down. Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, says he does not direct police. But, they make the laws, police enforce the laws. But obviously there is pressure being brought to bear here by big companies that have been losing money because of this border blockade. Major manufacturers like the auto companies are suffering severe losses. No question about all of that. But this is the response that you get, I guess, when desperate people need to find some way for their voice to be heard.
Yeah.
And tonight, that's what they're doing. They're shouting.
Well, I think it's about time to shut her down.
So, yeah, Carla, I guess, we can't continue this broadcast all evening. We don't know when police might move in. It could be anytime overnight. It might not even happen. If the crowd remains large, so large that police feel there's too much risk, they might not take any action tonight. And because there is strength in numbers, and they have some numbers down there even now at 1:22 a.m. So even though they were basically given sort of a midnight deadline when, the injunction took place at 7, more strict measures and penalties took effect at midnight. Police have moved in force into the area. And this is the footage that we're seeing right now. But when you have that many people, I think police would have a very difficult time rounding them all up and hauling them all off to
It's a
jail.
lot of people. There's quite a few people there.
Yeah.
Like I said, if the people don't have anywhere to sleep, they're not going to be able to stay on their feet all night. I mean, unless they prepared and did shifts and things, but I would not be surprised to see a little thief in the night thing happen.
Yeah. If the crowd thins out, I would think that's when police would want to make their move, and that could happen anytime between now and sometime tomorrow morning. And police probably are going to look for that opportunity because we know more people are planning on going down there in the morning.
Somewhere probably between 4 and 6 would be my best guess.
Yeah, yeah. And then even more, as you get a little later in the day and more people wake up and make their way down there. And we know that there have been all through the last few days, there have been messages circulating about, convoys forming from various areas to go down and show their support for the truckers. Of course, they're being told not to go by the authorities. The mayor has said, don't come, you're not welcome. So we'll have to wait and see what happens as people decide what they want to do.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I think the mayor's telling them not to go, and the more pushback they get from the government threatening and telling them not to go is more motivation for people to come, to go.
Yeah.
That's the message I'm getting, with people who've made it to Ottawa today and are planning to come tomorrow.
Yeah, huge crowd in Ottawa again. It looks almost as big as it was the first weekend.
Oh yeah, just tonight. Tonight, Friday night, looks as big as the first Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that many people down there, Carla, do you think that police would do anything over the weekend? My guess would be no.
No, I really expected them to do something before Friday. Last night, I was on a little higher alert. I kind of thought it was going to happen. Tonight would have been very shocking, because there's so many people.
Yeah.
But I feel like the same in Ottawa. They're probably, I'm assuming they're going to go through the night. They're going to do it when there's no kids. And I feel like they're going to start knocking on truckers' trucks
Yeah.
in the night. Yeah. But the truckers are already planning on locking their doors. That's their plan. Not answering.
Nobody home.
Yeah. We're sleeping.
I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I have already stated pretty much I thought this would have been over by Wednesday, but it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, so it's a big wait now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised from what we're seeing if, we go to bed and wake up and this thing's still going on in the morning.
God bless them. If they can do it, I hope they do it. I can barely stay awake. I don't know how they're doing it, but then these might not be the people that were there first thing in the morning either.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, new people.
Mm-hmm.
New people. Incredible. An incredible protest all the way across the country. And, just at every turn, police have just been unsuccessful in shutting these things down. Simply, I think, because there are just too many people for them to deal with. It's just too much patriotism, too much love. Too much love.
Yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful crowd there.
Yep.
Well done. Well done, Windsor.
So I'll throw it over to you guys to kind of wrap things up because we are going to have to, bring this thing to an end. It is getting close to 1:30 a.m. now, and it doesn't look like we're getting any police action down there. So we better keep our energy in reserve so we can come back at another time tomorrow and give people an update.
Yeah. So I'm Brennan with the Flow of Discourse podcast. It's been great hanging out with you guys tonight, and we'll look forward to doing more later.
And I'm Carla on the ground in Ottawa, and it has been an absolute pleasure to be here tonight.
Okay, and I'm Rick Walker with Maverick News and Maverick Multimedia, and you are watching ongoing coverage of Freedom Convoy 2022 cruising to the capital and the border. We will catch you all tomorrow for sure at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time again with another live broadcast and more live coverage, and possibly earlier if there are major developments. I will set up another live feed if there's something really major and we're able to bring you unique and uncensored footage and coverage from the scenes at various points across Canada. So again, thank you, everyone. Please like, share, subscribe. It helps us keep getting this message out. It would be extremely helpful. So please do that, and we will catch you all on the flip side tomorrow, 6 p.m., if not before. Take care, and thanks again for watching.